welcome to the Godly Vibes and Blessings podcast. This is Quante Reid, your host, and I had some things for you today, and I'm gonna just go ahead and talk about it. Um, so I wanted to talk to you guys about the tools I use in order to continue to um put towards my purpose and also my spiritual growth and my just growth as a person of being the best version of Quante I can be. And my tools, and we used to say this in church. I didn't say, you had the old folks say that little saying and just follows you and you just come in your mind like, where forgot about that. In church when I was growing up, they would always say you cannot lose with the tools you use. Okay. So I know for a fact if I can't lose with the tools I am using, that I know for a fact if you guys use the same tools that you will not have any issues, you will win, you will be victorious. And yeah, so to tell you guys about that, I'm going to grab my journal real quick. Give me a sticky. Okay. I have been writing more, so I have been back to my ways of writing and jotting down things to talk to you guys about. So yeah, y'all up in my business basically. So as we were saying, about the tools, you cannot lose with the tools you use, but also in order to use a tool, you have to learn how to use them. And in order for them to work at the best ability they are made for you to use them, you have to learn how to properly use them. And so I have a couple tools. I have the hammer. Everybody know how to use a hammer. But you can't hurt your finger if you use it wrong. So it's still a simple tool, but it can cause damage if you don't use it correctly. So you got to be careful. But with the tools, this is the drill. You gotta learn how to use that properly too, because you put a big old hole in your wall if you don't do it right. And then I also have other tools up here. My tools for my Cricut when I'm doing shirts. Okay, I'll go back to that. Just want to let y'all know we're doing a prop today. Doing a props day. So, what I was saying was, only way you know how to use a tool is to use it and to practice with the tools. For me, when I was making shirts, the tools that we have in the actual Cricut, for the actual Cricut, are different than your normal tools. So this honestly looks like a dental instrument, a scaler. If you don't know this, guys, I actually worked in the dental field. I was going to school to be a dentist, so this looks kind of sort of similar to it, not all the way, but basically like explorer, not a scaler, but explorer, and a scaler too, just understand. But anyways, let's don't talk. Um, we also have this, and you like, what is this? Is like a little baby spatula with the Cricut, and what's something else that's like strange that you like? Okay, what do you use that for? Where is it at? It's something in here. Oh, here it is. This. So all of these things are used in the Cricut. And this as well. All these are my little Cricut tools. Now, if I was to give you this and you don't even know what a Cricut is, you're gonna be like, what is this? These are really important when it comes, I stick myself in the eye. These are really important when it comes to doing t-shirts, when you're using vinyl and different materials to weed out. When I mean weed out, I mean you have to actually weed out the parts that's around the shirts, right? I did not make the shirt, by the way. Physically make the shirt, by the way. And you weed out things like this. Like the middle of the P and how the R is right there. Let's give you an example. Um, you would know to do that if you know how to practice. And for one, for my experience, when I first started doing shirts, I was messing up at the weeding it out because I was taking it out, but I was also making a mistake in like jabbing at the actual letters or shapes that I was doing. So it was kind of like, it wasn't giving. So after I kept using the tool and using it and learning how to be comfortable with it and understanding how it works and actually taking my time to understand that and being patient with myself, because I got impatient sometimes because it's a very tedious thing to do, weeding out stuff for shirts. But when I slowed down, whenever I was doing that with the weeding the vinyl for the shirt, when I was getting a brighter light to kind of help me see better, like just using the tools that's around me to actually do that helped me a lot on completing the actual shirts and the different things I was using it for. So to bring that back to what we're saying with the real tools that you need to use in your actual life, um, we have affirmations as one of the tools. When we are affirming ourselves in things that we didn't even know we could do, or things that we haven't even touched or done or seen yet, those things are important in building your mindset, because we have to build our mindset and renew our mind, and continue to renew your mind is what's going to help you have an open mindset and letting go of old ways and old thinking that causes you to get caught up in doing things that are not how they're supposed to be done. Not necessarily that it always got to be a wrong thing that you're actually doing, but breaking habits. Like, for example, we have a discussion with someone the other day, and we were talking about how you go to a cookout. We were talking about health, and you go to a cookout and they're giving you sodas and different things like that. I'm personally have never been a really big fan of sodas, but let's say if someone is drinking a lot of sodas growing up, they thought that's the go-to drink, and they get older and they continue that habit of drinking sodas, and then that soda might turn to alcohol, or something heavier that's making you very unhealthy, and then you have issues when you get older. But the problem is, instead of you changing your mindset, hold on, before I get there, like, let me back up. You're drinking all those sodas. So when you have kids, you're giving them the same thing. You're giving them sodas. You're giving them unhealthy things. You're not making them drink water that's not helping their bodies. You know what I'm saying? You're not implementing that water's important. Water is good for you. You have to implement that in your life in order for them to see, all right, this is a good thing that I should do too. Or starting out, before you even get them introduced to it. So it's like, what are you introducing yourself to, or what are you introducing your kids to that you don't want them to partake, like, you don't want them to do? So for me, I personally love water. But I don't understand, you do have kids that may not like it, but you got to figure out a way to tell them, like, you have to make sure you're drinking this, or you have to make sure you're taking your vitamins, or make sure that you're brushing your teeth. Because I was in dental field, like, I was really heavy on brushing, keeping your teeth brushed, and all that type of stuff, and drinking water so you won't get cavities. So all those things matter, right? And those are tools that you're using, but those are things that you're having to implement in your life in order to pass them on. So excuse me, whatever you are doing, you have to make sure your habits and the things that you want to pass on are things that's going to help them, that's going to continue to grow your generation, because we are the next generation, and those things are very important when we are in that teaching moment, or we are in that moment of opening our eyes to realize, okay, sometimes you got to open your eyes for, okay, Lord, what things am I doing now should I not do anymore? Should I stop going here? Should I stop doing this? Should I stop wearing that? Like, all those things matter. And so I recently, like, for example, I'm going to get back to the tools, but I recently clean out my closet, got rid of old things, because God told me, He was like, make room for new. And that was me physically activating my mindset of being open to, all right, Lord, you telling me to get rid of things that remind me of my past, or my past pains, or remind me of not where I'm going, or the elevation I see myself as. I got to make room for those clothes. I got to make room for them shoes. I got to make room for those bags. I got to make room. It's not my just materialistic things. You have to make room in your mind too. Because as you clear out things physically, you're clearing it out mentally, or vice versa. You clean it out mentally, you got to start doing the same thing physically. You know what I'm saying? So for me, cleaning those things out and clearing that space out, it wasn't easy, because I was like, oh Lord, it ain't even nothing wrong with this item. It's not even like, it still fits, like, yada, yada, yada. But He was like, no, I got something even better for you. Like, you got to trust me. So that's another tool. I feel like trust can be used as a tool. Because if you don't trust in the Holy Spirit telling you not to do something through your discernment, that could be an issue as well. So that's another tool I had to learn to activate and continue to cultivate in order to know what type of things I should do, or where I should go, and what times could that matter. Because it's a lot of things going on in this world, and God hasn't just left us out in the blind through all the chaos. He's given us enough light to guide us in the darkness, enough light to guide us in the chaos and different things that's happening in the world. And I feel like it's certain tools that we have to continue to cultivate to do that. And so far I have mentioned two. I don't know. I mentioned two or three. I think I mentioned. Okay, I mentioned that you have to be open, renew your mind. I also mentioned trust and affirmation. Yeah, I don't mention like three of them already. And to give you a couple more, another thing you have to do is use your tool of fasting and praying. Now, fasting and praying is a subject that most people either understand or you don't, or to what extent you're understanding based off how you were taught. This is not your typical fast where you're fasting foods for diet reasons. Because people, sometimes I've heard people say that before, yeah, I'm fasting because you have a weight goal or physical goal that you're trying to reach. But fasting is for your spirit, and it's a sacrifice you give to the Lord. So that you're able to just be exposed in the spiritual realm of things of how to basically cultivate your spirit and also to have discernment and build those characteristics that's needed in the spirit world, because everything happens spiritually before physically. And so we have to prepare ourselves through fasting and spending time with God, because his spending time with God is not, it's not religious, it's a relationship, and you have to build that relationship, and you have to be in proximity of God by fasting, and then like I said, praying. Like what's the easiest way for you to start praying if you don't know how? I would say starting to, like, my pastor's, like, she mentions like putting times in your phone to remind yourself, like that's a very helpful tool. So taking that time to actually pray and remembering that your prayers don't have to, if you don't have anything to pray about, you can pray for other people. Like, I'm learning to do that too. Like, God can place somebody in my mind and I haven't heard from this person, I haven't talked to this person, but I pray for them that God is strengthening them, whatever they may be going through. And then plus, the more you spend fasting and praying, I'm trying to tell y'all, like, your eyes will be open. Your eyes will be so open that you will see things you have never seen before, that haven't been done before. He might have you doing stuff that's never been done before, or he might have you locate what's causing certain issues in your family, or locate things that's causing you issues at work, that that could be a demonic attack, or it could be strongholds. It's like so much to the spiritual world that people are missing out on because they're blind to just tapping in. Like, I'm a tapped in shawty, so I'm trying to, like, I'm not trying to be sleep. I'm trying to stay woke. Okay. So y'all have to make sure you're installing those type of things in your daily lives that's gonna cultivate a spiritual relationship with God and an insight from a spiritual insight, basically what I'm trying to say. So I'm pretty sure I should have wrote this down so I can keep up with the number I'm on, because yeah, if you don't know, like, sometimes you struggle with numbers. I'm trying to think. Okay, so I did, this is my fifth, that was the fifth one. So thank you. We are cultivating this set. So now I have a screen so I can look at you, so my producers help me remember which order I am in. So while she's typing that up right quick, I'm going to mention the next one and then I'll do a recap. So another powerful tool that you should always have in your toolbox is this: a Bible. The Bible. So this is my Bible. It's a Life Connection Study Bible. I honestly, I feel like I bought this a couple years ago, and I bought it off Amazon. So it's very helpful. It's the Christian Standard version. So this is so good. Like, it has little small group of questions and different things in it, and it has like ways to apply the word to your life. It's literally a life connection. The Bible is your life connection to the Holy Spirit. And I feel like it's so many tools you can use. Like, it's so many different tools you can use. You can use listening to other sermons and different things to help build you in the way that's needed to keep you moving as well. So I have so many tools, y'all. I journal during my spending time with God, and that helps me a lot. Like, keep me up to date on, okay, Lord, you told me this. Or if I have something to bring to Him, we have our business meetings, or I have my personal meetings with Him. Or I have just times where I'm just praying for random people. Like, I sometimes get on social media and I just, if I feel it, like I said, your Holy Spirit, like Holy Spirit lives inside of us, and that has to be activated through us trusting and renewing our minds and open our eyes to see spiritually. And I'm pretty sure that this can be a super in-depth message to you guys, or I would say word, but I know pastor don't like that. But it's so much deeper than I'm even saying in this podcast. Like, it's so much deeper. And you have to be like willing to dig deeper, and he'll have you doing things like he'll have you doing things. Like when he in the Bible when they talking about doing the foolish things, listen, God will have you doing these foolish things. Okay. But it's obviously to build you and to do what you're supposed to do, like, you know, to keep you moving. So, like I said, I have my affirmations as my number one. So I'm going to go through the list real quick. We have affirmations as a tool. We have trust, fasting and praying, and the fourth tool was your Bible. And I would say the fifth tool would be my journal and my time with God, because if I didn't spend time with him, I wouldn't know what to talk about on the podcast. Like I said before, he wouldn't be able to talk to me, like cultivate that time for you to actually have a moment to talk to him, so he can talk back to you. Because sometimes when we're moving too fast, then like you get caught up in the things going on that you don't take time to use your tool. So that's something else. See, the Holy Spirit just brought to my mind. We can use, you know how people use tools for other things, like, I don't want to say the word, but you know how people be rigging stuff. They'll rig up something and make it work. Like, you using these things, these are tools that you can't, I don't want to say rig up. That's gonna cause it to break. These tools are here. You can use them in different areas of your life, and they will not have you out here with. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm not gonna say it. She told me I can't say it. But you all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. People be like, fixing up stuff and making it shake, and it's gonna just shake for just that moment. It ain't gonna be solid, concrete. So you have to make sure you don't be buying no stuff from people that's doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So for these two though, you can use these to make something else. Cause I'm gonna say finessing. That's the best way I can put it. Finessing. Thank you. Producer approved of that word. Finessing. Like, you can finesse stuff and it work. Cause I'm a true fan of finessing. Depending on what it is. Like, okay, what's a good example? Like, you scuff your boot. Get your little permanent marker, zoom, 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 and you can't see the scuff. That's a finesse. You know, you make the marker be used in a different way. What's another one? So even though this is a cup you drink out of, it's a tool, right, for us to drink and stuff like that, right? So I use this to put my tools in. You can reuse tools. So what I'm trying to say is, what I'm really trying to say, the tools that I named to you can be used in other areas in your life, and you will not have. It won't be rigged. It won't be finessed. It will be used to make sure that whatever area that needs to be fixed, God can use any tool to fix it. And those are great tools to use and install and put in your little toolbox to pull out for anything. It's not just a one-time only thing, or it's not a one product only thing. These tools can actually advance your life. These tools can change your life. These tools can have you walking in light and not in darkness. These tools can have you lit for real, in the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these are great tools to have. So make sure you guys are making sure that you are taking this in and applying this. This is not a tutorial where you just listening and you don't know what's going on. You like, what the heck? Like, you're not making sense. Okay, let's go read some instructions. You know how to write. The God's gonna give you instructions when it comes to writing. Affirmations, you can find affirmations online that apply to you, or you can reword them to make them work for your situations. Like, it's so many ways to make these tools work in different areas. Like I said before, putting your affirmations on the wall. I have my affirmations in my makeup area because I know I'm gonna go put on my eyebrows, every day. If I don't do anything else, I make sure I have on eyebrows. Like that's something I'm going to see. Or you could put them in your bathroom or in your car, on your laptop, in your phone as your background. Like it's so many ways that you can use that tool and use it in different areas. Another thing is you have access to a Bible in your to your you have access to a Bible by using your laptop, your phone, your iPad, the physical Bible. That's access to that. That's a way to use the tools in different ways. If you're not able to have this big old book everywhere with you, like you have access to that. What else I have on there? Now trust, that's thing you'll have with you. Fasting and praying. When you're fasting and praying, you might be on a trip for work, but you having to fast. And you having to fast because God told you to. It's ways to fast. And fasting, you may just drink water and not any sugary drinks or anything like that. You may not eat meat during your fast. That's your sacrifice. Whatever it don't even have to just be food. It could be anything that you feel like so close to that you don't want to let go. Like, for example, social media. You might get caught up for hours binge watching people's TikToks or on IG or Facebook or wherever of the platforms you be on heavily. You may have to sacrifice that for a week or however long he tell you to, so he can speak to you during that time. Instead, in that time, once you watch a sermon or read the Bible or read a book that's going to help you in your spiritual life, or just changing your, like a book about changing your habits, like different things like that. Another thing you could do is some people are not bothered by TV or social media, because it is some people out there still, like, for one, like if I fast from social media, then y'all may not get any y'all may not get any posts. So I have to continue to remind myself by looking at, okay, this is something that I could do, or I'm, like I said, I'll be on there to pray for people. That's something I have had recently fast from. So right now, like I've recently fasted from eating meat. I've fasted from I don't really watch a lot of TV either, so that's not a fast that would apply to me, that would help me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really making a real sacrifice if I'm doing that. So, I love my peanut butter cookies. I haven't had peanut butter cookies in a long time because I'm fasting from them, and that's my sacrifice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's different things that you can bring to God that'll help. Some people play video games. You may have to fast from playing games. The time you set aside for playing for your game, do something else for the Lord. Like sacrifice it by giving your time to Him. You may have to go out and pray for people. You may have to take a walk in the nature and just let God minister to you through some trees. Like, I don't know. He used the bush before, so and he used a donkey, so you don't listen. We don't know. He just be doing his own thing, so he may do that for you as well. Um, what's something else you can fast from? Um, Holy Spirit, help me. Let's see. Oh, it's perfect. I also had to do this, y'all. This is probably one of the most hardest fasts, I would say, because I felt like food didn't bother me. Like I said, um, watching TV never bothered me. I didn't never cared enough about that. What I had to fast from was how I talk about myself, what things I was putting in the atmosphere. So I had to fast from negative words and negative thinking. And that's one of the hardest things to fast from, because it easily happens so quickly, because it's something you do every day. You may not play on the game every day. You may not be on social media every day, but you do think every day, 24/7. And so I had to change the thoughts that was coming in my head about myself, about my body, about how what other people thought of me. Like, I had to change my mindset on those things. I had to start saying to myself, like, you are a child of God. Like I said, speaking those affirmations, that kind of go back to the affirmations. I had to start saying those things. Whatever negative thought came to my mind that was a lie from the enemy, from the pit of hell, I had to send that back. I got a little loud. I had to send that back. I'm like, okay, I am smart. I am capable. I'm not dumb. I'm not inadequate. Like, I had to speak against those things about my speech. Sometimes my mind moves so fast 'cause I'm a fast thinker. And I know it's because I'm smart, but sometimes the enemy will try to use that and be like, oh, you're not smart. So he was telling me that I wasn't smart, that I couldn't speak and different things like that. And so it made me self-conscious about even talking in front of the mic or talking to people to a certain extent. So for me to activate that boldness, because also you need that boldness to do that. And so I knew that boldness was something I was going to have to draw myself to. So doing that, the practical thing that I did recently, like this is another example, I prayed during our fast for the church. So we had prayer every night in person, and she assigned different people to pray for different subjects and different things like that. I wasn't helped at a certain point to do it. I could have said no, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to say yes, because I know this is just the beginning. Me speaking in front of Mike, in front of camera, with just my producer Jazz in the background. This is just one part of the vision that God has for me for my purpose. So I know eventually He's going to have me speaking to people in different classes or colleges, groups of girls or men, women. I don't know, whoever He's called me to, audience wise. I have to be prepared to speak in front of people in person. And I knew I couldn't do that out of my own strength. So my practice was, let me try to do this with him and not with just myself. So I had to rely on God. So that's nothing like through the trust. You have to rely on God to do that. I had to pray. I said, Lord, I need you right now. Like your girl needs you, like for real, for real. I had like, I need you, Lord. Yo necesito. I need you. So I basically prayed before I got on. I prayed the whole day, y'all. Before I even got up there, I was like, Lord, I need you. Like, I need that boldness. That I need that to be activated tonight, Lord. I need to speak with confidence. So I was speaking over my speech. I was speaking over my voice, because my voice is my tool. Oh, y'all, I forgot. My voice is my tool. So that's another tool. Like, whatever. Listen, our mouths are our tools. Not just my mouth, your mouth, your voice. Like, everybody's voice is a tool. And the reason why I say it's a tool, because whatever we speak comes to life, right? Comes to pass. So if we're speaking negative things over ourselves, of course that's what's going to come to pass. So you have to speak light over yourself. You have to speak against darkness. You have to speak what you want to see in yourself. Consistently do that. And that's a daily process. That's a process that happens through prayer and the help of the Holy Spirit. Because without him, I could have got up there and went blank. I was always afraid of going blank. Even reading out loud to people, like, it's not like I can't read. I just, like, you know how you read in your mind, you read everything, and then when you read out loud, like, you get like caught up in your thoughts, or like I said, my brain is moving 10 times faster than most people sometimes, I feel like. So sometimes I'm like, even when I'm talking to people, I get caught up in, I might say something and not say the whole sentence. I might say the end of the sentence or something and assume that they know what I'm talking about. But what it is, I'm talking so fast and communicating in my head. My neurons are just going crazy in there. And my receptors are setting them like this. I understand, but it's hard for me to get people to understand me sometimes. So I was getting so caught up in why people don't understand me, or I sound different, whatever the case may be. I felt like that was a thing like that. So I just kind of like, I'm already an observant person. So I fell into that observant place that I have, and I let that be the thing. But now I'm starting to kind of like, even though I have personality and different things like that, I'm still trying to learn to be like my full self. Like, even if I don't make sense to you, I don't have to always make sense to everybody that I'm speaking to in person. And not saying I'm talking foolish or nothing like that, crazy. I'm just saying, like, a lot of things I say may not make sense to everybody, and that's okay. Like, me and Jess can have this whole conversation without moving our mouths, and people be like, "What are y'all talking about?" Because we be making these little noises and talking all low, and they be like, "I can't hear you," and they be like, "How y'all just had this whole conversation and y'all haven't said anything?" That's how I think, and I'm glad I have somebody that thinks like me, so I'm not crazy. We're not crazy. So if it's other people out there, y'all are not crazy. We just think a little faster than others. It's okay. You're geniuses, actually. Um. So yeah. Uh. Sometimes I have to sit and settle in what I just said too. So I'm gonna just take that little second real quick, because I'm also I'm not trying to get choked up, like choked up, because I ain't no crier or nothing like that. Uh, but I had to take a moment because well, I need to take this moment, give me a second so I can get my thoughts together for you again. Whew. I am you know how you realize you're saying something and then you're like, oh my god, I'm saying something that nobody knows about. I'm speaking about something that nobody knows that's in my head, and I'm like noticing in it. So I'm just like trying to like settle myself and to embrace like that I'm growing. I am growing and I'm about to cry. Even I don't cry. Because I see myself if I'm able to speak about it, that means I'm actually healing from that. So okay, God, don't do me like that in front of these people, okay? Okay. Don't be doing me out. Don't do me like that. Okay, God. Mm, Lord. It's so good. So good. Okay, let me get back to this. Thank y'all for letting me have that little moment. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know if I have anything else to say, honestly. So Holy Spirit, if there's anything else you want to say to your people, let me know. um, yeah, like that was a big that's big, that's big for me because I know if I was able to do that so easily before, I would have never probably made it. It probably would never came out. I probably would have thought it, or it wouldn't have translated as clearly as it did and transparent as it did and as smooth as it did. Um, without knowing that the Holy Spirit did that. Yeah, so I apologize if you listen to this without seeing my face. Because I feel like I sound like a little but yeah. So yeah, welcome to Quante's world. No, just lying. um I'm just happy now. I'm like really like giggly 'cause I get a little giggly when everybody, it's a common thing when you're happy. But yeah, so I'm a little goofy. It's okay. It's okay to be Quante. It's okay to do a little side talk because I be side talking to myself. When I get low, I'm most time side talking to myself. But that's okay too. So yeah, I just wanted to like grow in a way I've never grown before and to reach the level I need to reach. And I know to do that, I have to continue to be transparent and to continue to grow. Just as I'm telling y'all about these tools, I have to activate them. Like I said, I just recently did all of them. And when you fall off using your tool, it might get a little dusty, but it's always available to you and you can always pull it back out and use it. If you have to go back and listen to this podcast, if you have to talk to me like I'm talking to you and like communicate back, like how the people that be talking back to the TV, if you have to do that because it may help you. And I have so many doggone tools. I have another tool to add to the list. So therapy. Like I said before, therapy was a big help to my growth. I feel like see me even noticing things that I never noticed before. Because when I was in therapy, or I'm still in therapy, because I feel like you should continue doing it. But she's told me how I've grown so much. Even she's mentioned it to me. And sometimes you don't know how far you have gotten if nobody like brings it to your attention. And whenever you have it brought to your attention, you're like, whoa, like I was doing that. I used to do that. I don't do that no more. And that's healing and that's being healed. And I know I couldn't have done it without my therapist. And I know I couldn't have done it without having faith. And I know I definitely couldn't have done it without the Holy Spirit. And so, see my shirt? Jesus heals, therapy helps. And I just want you guys to know you can purchase this shirt. I'm going to drop the link below. It's not part of GVB, but it's somebody I support and that I feel like has also helped me grow in my area of connecting my spirit and my soul and my healing and all that good things. If you want to know more information about that, I got y'all on that too because he's great. So I want you guys to move forward because I'm about to wrap up this um podcast. Can you bring back the topics for me real quick? I'm going to I mean, not topics of tools. I'm gonna go run through them real quick. So, quick, real recap. So, the tools that I personally use is 7 tools. Affirmations. You can say those daily before bed. In the morning when you wake up, set a little timer on your phone to say them during the day. Trust. It's the second tool. It's one of the most important tools as well because you have to have trust in God. You have to have trust in yourself and the ability that God is going to do it. And so, in order to do that, you have to activate that, cultivate that trust. And that comes with spending time with Him and building a relationship with Him. Tool number 3 was fasting and praying. You have to fast and pray. Make that a that has to be a tool that you. If you ain't never used that tool will open up some things that you ain't never seen before. Make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're fasting and praying, and be intentional when you do it. If you're not intentional when you're doing it, it's like you're doing it for what? You're fasting to lose weight because you're not fasting to grow if you're doing it in that way. So if you're trying to be intentional about your your relationship with God, you're intentional about your growth and your spiritual growth and overall growth, fasting and praying is going to help tremendously. Okay. And the fourth tool I have is the Bible. You can apply the Bible. The Bible tells us to apply this and live by it. We have to live by it. So in order to live by it, you have to take it in, eat from this table, take on ingest the words that God has for us in the Word. I said word twice, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Like ingest that. Okay. The fifth tool I have is journal and time with God. Journal on your phone if you have to. If you don't have a journal, um, okay, Gore, I hear you. You just told me something. Okay, I'll mention that later for y'all. But get your journal and start journaling. Take the opportunity to journal. And I'm going to go ahead and do this because I'm making a faith move. You got to have faith in this as well. So my affirmation for myself, I will have a merchandise section on my website, and this is what I'm going to say right now because I'm going to activate this by faith, and I'm going to prophesy over myself because prophecy is just like doing affirmations when you're prophesying out loud. So my out loud thing right now is I'm going to have products and people are going to use them, and they're going to move y'all in your lives and make changes. It's going to bring light to dark places. It's going to activate something in you that you have never had activated before, and you're going to grow to be the people that God called y'all to be. And darkness will no longer follow you. Darkness will no longer be over you. Darkness will not move on to your next generation based on what is produced through GVB and its products. When you touch it, I'm going to pray over the products. When you touch them, you're going to start feeling something. That's what I'm prophesying. So I'm going to also say that I will have a journal coming out, and I'm going to have a little kit and different things for y'all. So this is me speaking it into existence because listen, that's what we got to do, speaking into existence. Can you bring up that list again? Okay. So I stopped on journal and time with God. 6 is your voice, which is what I just did, basically. I just did number 6. Use your voice. Continue to speak against things. Continue to speak out loud with confidence. Use that boldness. We have the power and authority to do so. We're kingdom kids, okay? The seventh thing and the last thing is that we have to be open to therapy to heal. Be open to therapy in a way that you're able to break things off you by seeing them. Because if you don't know something is an issue, if you don't know something is a bad habit, you won't know until someone else that's professionally capable of doing this. Your friend is not your therapy. Your parents are not your therapy. Your coworkers are not your therapy. Find you a licensed therapist. And I would say personally, I use a faith base because if you talk to somebody that don't believe, then how are you gonna correlate? I like to put that together because if you're going to someone and they don't believe in having faith, then how are you going to cultivate that? So make sure you pray about it. Pray of the person that like, Lord, help me find a therapist that's going to help me grow in the areas that you call me to grow in because I need help. Okay. That is all I have for you guys. That's the 7 steps, and I hope you guys are applying them and that y'all will apply them. And I will continue to pray over y'all and speak affirmations. And I believe in you. And you already know the motto: become lit and stay lit. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
On